The mission to fix the rift between New York City police officers and community members continues. And according to the New York Times, the 40th precinct has the highest murder rate with fewer detectives per violent crime. Here now to tell us more about how community police relations can be fixed despite these findings, we welcome now the Reverend Q English, Senior Pastor at the Bronx Christian Fellowship. Good to have you back.
Good to be here, Darren.
Good. Happy New Year and all that good
Happy
stuff,
New
right?
Year.
I guess we're in
Merry
February now,
Christmas
right?
and
So yeah, all of that. So talk to us about the 40th precinct. Obviously, we know that that's a precinct that has a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
A precinct that has high murder rate, you know,
Yeah.
the highest of all New York City police precincts. But yet and still, there's a real push to really do some things by way of police-community relations. First, let's start off with, how do you gauge police-community relations in your area right now?
Well, right now, we're very intentional about, I remember several years back, there was a New York Daily News report that said, your precinct, your community is leading in gun violence. And so for us, that was quite alarming. And not just for me, it was for other community leaders and for other faith leaders, as well as NYPD. I think what took place is they brought in an extraordinary commanding officer by the name of Inspector Ruel Stevenson. And he had a vision, he has a vision, in seeing public safety being shared among police and community, which is the vision that we all share. And so we had to become innovative. What did that look like? That looked like doing things together as community, as police. He had some innovative ideas. We actually did a toy drive out of the precinct where we gave over 3,000 toys to the community. So imagine, not out of a house of worship, not out of a community center, but directly out of the precinct where the police served the community, right? Because really what you're dealing with is a lack of trust, right? You're dealing with a lack of trust between police and community, right? When stop and frisk still has its residue, although, you know, it's not considered illegal, but the practices that we were employing were illegal. So basically, you still have some of that residue lingering. And so what he did was, so through those type of efforts, that giving away book bags from the precinct, toys, dressing up as Santa Claus, being there for the community, stopping the cars to give them gifts. I mean, those kind of things created a atmosphere of, well, maybe, just maybe, they are looking out for us.
How's the buy-in amongst the community? Because obviously, you talked about the trust issue. Trust is always a major issue.
Trust is a major issue.
Right.
And the buy-in came gradually. Like, for example, we actually created the first People's Police Academy, not only in the city, but in the nation. And that's where police came through a community-led academy to train officers that serve the community but don't live there, okay? And so to be able to have the NYPD give us 50 officers of that precinct, mainly comprised of rookies and seniors, right, to go through an academy such as that to talk about racial literacy and socialization, to talk about cultural competency, etc. That was unheard of. So what I'm saying is we're moving in the right direction as the NYPD and their leadership are seeing the need for more of community policing, engaging faith, and engaging regular citizens, creating the NCO program where now they're restoring the beat cop model. It's going to take time. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's going to take time, and we got to give ourselves time for that.
Access is a major thing, because for a long time, community always talked about, we only see police when there's bad situations.
Exactly.
But having access beforehand
Exactly.
could possibly be something that does something to mitigate crime, could better relationships, stuff like that. Do you feel like the access barrier has been broken?
I absolutely feel that way, that the access barrier has been broken. I mean, to the point where they're literally coming up to you, they're giving out cell phone numbers, right? You can stay in contact with them. They're recognizing that if we're going to create a safe city, we're going to have to be on the forefront of it. And what the beauty of this is, they're not only saying they have to be on the forefront of it, faith community is saying we have to be on the forefront of it. So what we're saying is we're all on the same page. And with that in mind, we can build a safer New York City. Am I saying they're doing everything right? Absolutely not. Am I saying we're doing everything right? Absolutely not. But I think the power of being able to see situations through one another lenses, then being able to come to the table and come to some form of agreement is the power in collaboration, the power in partnership. It's happening. Are things still happening that's not right? Absolutely. But how do we build past that? How do we heal past that? We're going to either stand at the protest line all the days of our lives, or protest and sit at a table and begin to reason with one another. That's how you build relationship. We will never win this battle simply at a protest line. We got to know the power of negotiation, collaboration, and partnership. Our community was able to reduce gun violence by almost 50% through joint collaboration. And that's where we need to take it to the 40th.
We understand the 40th is also getting a new police precinct as well, and that's around the corner. Do you think that's going to help, hinder?
I think it's not the locale, right? And it's not even the structure. What has to happen there are some very intentional things, like, yes, they do need more infrastructure, right? They're really low on the detective piece. Manhattan definitely exceeds them in a lot of ways, but and also the resources are in Manhattan. So yes, we need more infrastructure there as more personnel, but we also need now to really start building community police relations. It's non-existent in the 40th. In my opinion. I feel that, you know, and again, you got to look at the systemic pieces too that contribute to where they are today. It's not just simply policing, and you're also looking at the poverty. You know, one of the five, in South Bronx, we have one of the 5 poorest congressional districts in the nation. Right? So we're dealing with poverty, we're dealing with lack of education, we're dealing with frustration, we're dealing with the cycle of poverty. So when we're talking about this, we have a lot of tentacles. It's not just you do this and it's fixed, you do this and it's fixed. It's all of these things that have to connect in order to provide the safety that they need. And we haven't done that effectively there, but we are going to be marching down toward the 40th and do more so that they can be a safer community.
Reverend Q English, our guest here. We'll continue to give you more information. If you want to get in contact with her, of course, you can get her at www.bcfcathedral.org, and that's where you can be
reached.
Reach
me there, and that's www.SHNINTL, Safe Haven Network International.org is another great place to reach me as well.
All right, Reverend Q English, thanks for letting us know, and of course, we got to bring you back.
Thank you, Darren.
All right.
Always great to be with you.
Good to have you.
All righty.
Reverend Q English here. All right, well, listen, we're going to take a short break, but coming back, we'll talk a little bit about how police and community relations are getting fixed, and we encourage you, don't go anywhere.